This Adipec is particularly special because it sets the stage for the UN climate conference, COP28, which is just weeks away. It's happening starting in November. So it also sort of sets the tone for that.
Hi, I'm Sarah Forster, news editor at The National, and thank you for joining me for what I'm sure you can already tell is going to be an excellent episode of A Closer Look. We are down here on location at Adipec in Abu Dhabi, and to tell us more about what we're going to expect from this year's event, we're going to speak to our energy reporter, John Benny. Thank you for, I should say, joining me down here, but really I've come down here to join you, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you explain first a little bit as to where we are?
We are at Adipec, the Abu Dhabi International Progressive Energy Congress, and it's an annual event where you have almost 2,200 exhibitors gathered here from across the oil and gas supply chain, as well as 160,000 participants. You've got heads of oil majors, you've got energy ministers from the Middle East, from the United States, Europe, and all of them are here to just discuss some of the key trends happening in the world energy sector right now.
Yeah, I mean, we're filming this day one, right? And there is definitely a buzz here. There are so many people from just dozens, if not hundreds of companies. What are people coming here to see?
I think you've got a lot of players here. You've got companies, you've got manufacturers, you've got oil and gas producers. You've got basically companies from across the energy supply chain, and they'll be looking to strike deals, meet up with counterparts from other countries, and sort of talk about potential projects. At a higher level, when we're talking about ministers and oil and gas majors, they'll be tackling issues such as underinvestment in the oil and gas industry. They'll be talking about increased adoption of renewable energy ever since Russia's invasion of Ukraine last year. That has sent ripples through the global energy markets and has also sort of accelerated the move towards renewable energy, and that's sort of the backdrop against which this Adipec is coming. And also, this Adipec is particularly special because it sets the stage for the UN climate conference, COP28, which is just weeks away. It's happening starting in November. So it also sort of sets the tone for that.
It does. And I mean, so you said it yourself just then, this is the year of sustainability. There's a lot of oil companies here exhibiting, right? So tell me, how are these two things coexisting at Adipec 2023?
I think there's an increasing realization amongst governments, amongst policymakers, that oil and gas would play an integral role to meet the energy needs of the world. I just came from a session where oil and gas company CEOs were speaking, and they've been pushing for sort of a multi-energy transition where not only do you have solar, wind, or geothermal, you also have oil and gas, because at the moment there are many parts of the world where oil and gas remains the primary source of energy for many people, and the priority for them is still getting access to cheap energy, and there's no question of what kind of energy it is, it's just getting access to energy. So oil and gas is expected to continue to play an important role going forward in the next decades, and they're going to be part of the conversation, be it here or even COP28.
And what are countries around the world, particularly in Europe, doing to address like specific energy challenges, whether that is price, affordability, or just having enough of it that people can use?
First of all, in Europe and several other countries, I think governments are doubling down on renewable energy. And in Europe in particular, they have been building LNG infrastructure to be able to take more LNG cargoes from the US, from the Middle East. But also it raises some concerns because if you look at some recent reports, you'll see that renewable energy, the rising adoption of renewable energy will start to lower natural gas at some point, and it remains to be seen what will happen with all the multi-billion-dollar LNG infrastructure announcements that have been made. So that's I guess one of the uncertainties out there in the next decade or so.
Yeah, I mean, what, in your opinion, do you think will be some of the big conversations being had here, some of the big headlines being made? What, you're down here to report on it, right? So what do you expect to be reporting on?
I think oil and gas companies are going to sort of double down on their clean energy goals. There are already many in the run-up to Adipec and COP28. Many projects have been announced be it in carbon capture, renewable energy, or biofuels. All the countries are taking different steps, different measures, depending on their strengths. So you see all of that coming together here at Adipec. Carbon capture is being seen as an important technology when it comes to capturing carbon that's emitted through the production of oil and gas, and in a way making it more low carbon, more sustainable. So I think the big takeaway would be the investment in technology, the investment in measures to make oil and gas, to decarbonize oil and gas operations, existing oil and gas operations. That's one of the takeaways. And obviously, we are also seeing increased adoption of renewable energy around the world. So renewable energy has gotten an increased focus since the Ukraine war, and that conversation is going to continue.
It is. All right, well, thank you so much, John. I'm going to let you go back and do all your reporting now, but thank you for joining me. Well, that's it for this week's extra special episode of A Closer Look. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget, you can find all of our previous episodes on our YouTube channel.